Good morning, everyone. We're having a beautiful day here in New York City, and it's a wonderful day to appreciate the sunshine and to share our practice together. I've been thinking recently about vow, and you know, to me, it's kind of a scary thing. Like, where does vow come from? You know, I vow to do this, I vow to do that. And to me, it doesn't feel quite right to put it that way, because it puts me like in the spotlight, like Ryo, am going to do this, that, and the other thing. And what it leaves out is vow is nothing. Ryo's vow is nothing unless he does it with all beings. And so to me, the best way to sort of orient myself to how I want to be in the world is not to start what I want or what I think I should be doing or what kind of person I think I should be. For me, it works much better to open my heart and appreciation and gratitude and see how my life is supported by all beings. We do this, when we chant the meal gatha before a meal. 72 labors brought us this food. We should know how it comes to us. And if I chant that before a meal, and I think, when supply chains are much in the news these days, when I think of all the effort of all the beings that made it possible for that nourishment to be there on my plate or in my bowl, when I am aware of how my life is inextricably linked to the support of all beings, well, it's just natural for me to want to support all beings. It's not a dramatic thing. It's not I'm going to support all beings. It's just that when a great gift is given to you, it's natural to say thank you and to want to requite it. I read sometimes, some teachers compassionately use the upaya of saying, yes, we should be great Bodhisattva heroes. And I think, yeah, sure, I'd like to be a great Bodhisattva hero. That sounds good. Where do I sign up? So it's a compassionate upaya, but I think where it can backfire is to make me believe that this is something outside of my ordinary life, my ordinary feelings of wanting to requite the gift. So being a great Bodhisattva hero doesn't have anything to do with flying around like Superman or Supergirl or saddling up and being the Lone Ranger and trying to make the world the way we think it absolutely should be, because I know how it should be. That you know, that's pretty obviously delusion, and it can be a trap in our practice. It can cause us to look beyond our ordinary selves and our ordinary lives. Yoga Dayashi just kindly points out, right here, it is eternally full and serene. Right here, not off in some la superhero bodhisattva land, but it starts right here with the perfection of being supported by the world and opening our heart in return and supporting other beings, supporting the people in our life. All this was brought home to me very forcibly because, as many of you know, I was laid up in the hospital last month, flat on my back, and not able to get out of bed because I was hooked up to all this equipment. I had only an imperfect grasp of what the equipment was doing, but I knew I wasn't supposed to get up out of bed and detach myself from it. And right there, it was very clear to me the functioning of the Bodhisattva of compassion, Kwan Yin, the one who's so often depicted as having thousands of hands and eyes to ease the suffering of the world. And what was Kwan Yin? Well, it was simply the doctors who had trained for many years to be able to be there to help me, the nurses who had trained for many years to be there to help me, the people who came in at the end of each day and mopped the floor of my hospital room, the people who came in 3 times a day to bring me the hospital food, which actually has gotten better than when I was younger. And it was all very clearly the functioning of the hands and eyes of Kwan Yin. But you know, I don't think one of those people got out of bed this morning and said, I'm going to be a great Bodhisattva hero. These were people who had chosen a profession or a job, and they got out of bed each morning, whether they felt like it or not. They put their feet on the floor. They got themselves mobilized, commuted from wherever to the hospital, and showed up. They showed up. And by showing up, they put themselves in a framework of care that also goes beyond themselves. I mean, there's this hospital, it's a corporate institution. And yet, even though no one sat down and said, we're going to be great bodhisattvas, somehow it all organized itself into a web of care that sustained my life. What could I do to requite it there flat on my back? Well, when someone brought me my food, I said, good morning. When someone mopped the floor of my room in the evening, I said, thank you. That too was the functioning of Kwan Yin. All a wonderful miracle and all absolutely ordinary, all awe-inspiring, and all not such a big deal. Just people doing their jobs, showing up, earning a paycheck. So for me, appreciating all of this is the basis for me wanting to function as the hands and eyes of Kwan Yin. Not in a big deal way, but just to show up and do my job, whether I'm in the mood to do my job on a particular day or not, whether I'm in a good mood or a bad mood, whether the weather is helpful or not helpful. Just day after day, showing up for what I signed on for and becoming part of this great web of care that sustains all beings and which all beings sustain. We're told over and over again not to look further than right here, right now, in our ordinary lives, as our ordinary selves. Right here it is eternally full and serene. You know, Yoka Daishi points us to this very ordinary aspect of Kwan Yin. He says, foolish ones, childish ones, suppose there is something in an empty fist. Isn't that great? Suppose there is something in an empty fist. Yes, I'm just going to pry open those fingers and see what's in there. There must be enlightenment in that fist. There must be the key to being a great Bodhisattva in that fist. There must be the answer to all my desires, to get everything I desire and to get rid of everything I don't want to have in my life. It all must be there in that fist. But we're told over and over again in the teachings that it doesn't lie in any particular place or any particular way or in any particular teaching. Foolish ones, childish ones, they suppose there is something in an empty fist. Not supposing that something is the Tathagata. This is truly Kwan Yin, the Bodhisattva who sees freely. Not supposing that something is the Tathagata. This truly is Kwan Yin, the Bodhisattva who sees clearly. The ordinariness of great compassion, or the function of great wisdom, depending on how you want to look at it. We're told over and over again how ordinary and extraordinary it is. Yun Yan asked Tao Wu, why is it that the Bodhisattva of Great Compassion has so many hands and eyes? Tao Wu said, it's like someone reaching behind them in the dark and groping for a pillow in the middle of the night. What an image. There's no idea of great compassion. There's simply the movement of the hands in the middle of the night, groping for what gives comfort and ease to the self and all beings. So natural, so automatic, like someone reaching back and groping for a pillow in the middle of the night. Yun Yan said, I understand. Tao Wu says, what do you understand? Yun Yan said, all over the body are hands and eyes. Wansong had a wonderful short comment on that line. All over the body are hands and eyes. Wansong says, no gap. No gap. The Buddha said, bring me something that is not medicine. Show me something or someone that is not the hands and eyes of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Right now in the news, I've been reading about the truckers protesting in Canada and tying up the flow of goods across the border because they're opposed to vaccination and other COVID-related restrictions. Well, can I see them as the hands and eyes? Their opinions are one thing, my opinions are one thing. That those same truckers are a part of the supply chain that we're finding out how dependent we are on all of these people, whatever their opinions, whatever the opinions doctors hold and nurses hold and all of that stuff, how dependent we are on the ordinary act of them showing up and doing their job. Are they deluded beings? Or are they bodhisattvas of great compassion? Are you a deluded being? Or are you a bodhisattva of great compassion? Right here, it is eternally full and serene. There's a mondo in the Book of Serenity that's quite wonderfully points out that we should not look beyond our ordinary lives and our ordinary kindness, our ordinary jobs. If we wish to realize great compassion in our lives. And the mondo is it's funny and kind of simple. So there was this teacher named Dongshan Chu, not our Dongshan, the founding Chinese leader of the Soto school, different Dongshan. But Dongshan Chu asked a monk, "Where do you come from?" The monk said, "Ru province." Dongshan said, "How far away is that?" The monk said, 700. Dongshan said, "How many pairs of sandals did you wear out getting here?" The monk said, 3. Dongshan said, "Well, how did you pay for them?" The monk said, "Making rain hats." Dongshan said, "Take a seat in the Zendo." The monk said, "Okay." And Wansong's comment on this mondo is, even hands and eyes throughout the body cannot see through this monk. Hands and eyes throughout the body refers to the second part of the koan. So Yunyan said, all over the body are hands and eyes, and Wansong commented, no gap. And then Dao Wu said, you've said a lot there, younger brother, but you only got 80% of it. Yunyan said, what would you say, elder brother? All through the body are hands and eyes. And Wansong's comment is, no obstruction, no gap, no obstruction, nowhere to look and not see hands and eyes of the Bodhisattva of Great Compassion. No obstruction to saying thank you when someone cleans the floor of your hospital room. No obstruction to being yourself, the hands and eyes of Kwan Yin, with the tools you have available, with the character you have, through your way of making your way through this difficult and beautiful world. Right here, it is eternally full and serene. Right here. Don't look farther. Don't keep prying on that empty fist and expecting there to be a goodie inside. You are the goodie. Your life is the goodie. Your life is the hands and eyes of Kwan Yin Bodhisattva.